Good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. on this Tuesday, June 9th, 71 degrees. Thanks for starting your morning with us here on Daybreak as we continue to stream on WGRZ Plus. Our top story this morning, a massive police response in the city of Buffalo yesterday afternoon after a suspect allegedly shot at members of a U.S. Marshals task force trying to execute an arrest warrant. And Daybreak's Natalie Foss joins us from the U.S. Marshal Service field office at the federal courthouse this morning with more.
This was the U.S. Marshals Violent Fugitive Task Force. We're told that they were executing a federal search warrant on Glenwood when shots were fired. U.S. Marshal officials tell us that when the task force entered 681 Glenwood, a suspect shot at them, prompting them to return fire, hitting the suspect. No officers were hit, and the suspect was transported to ECMC. Buffalo SWAT was brought in to secure the scene as investigators arrived to complete their investigation. One witness we spoke to said she was near the scene and heard the gunfire.
It was like a lot. It was a lot, at least anywhere from 10 to 20 shots fired. They did tell the person to comply. And because they told him to comply, I'm going to give them their credit because he didn't comply to what they said. So whatever happened, it just happened.
At this point, we don't know the suspect's condition, and there are currently no charges pending, but we did speak to the special agent in charge of the Buffalo FBI field office, who said that they're looking into a possible assault on a federal officer charge. Other than that, the U.S. Marshals did not share much information. However, they did say that that warrant was for a violation of supervised release, but we don't know much about the suspect either. We're waiting to hear back from the U.S. Attorney for the Western District, who will hopefully be able to share some more details about the incident. On your side in downtown Buffalo, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
Natalie, thank you. A Tonawanda man has been sentenced to serve more than 2 decades behind bars for killing another man at his Cheektowaga home. Earlier this year, Joseph Saraceno Jr. admitted to shooting 59-year-old Scott Belanca with a shotgun and then stabbing him. Officers found Belanca dead near the entrance of the home on Cayuga Avenue in September of 2024. The Erie County DA's office says Saraceno will now have 5 years of post-release supervision after he serves his sentence. A Buffalo man now faces 5 felony charges after allegedly robbing a rideshare driver and then stabbing a Buffalo police officer. Prosecutors say 35-year-old Derek Harris was armed with deadly weapons, including a razor and a pair of scissors, when officers approached him on Broadway and Liddell Streets back on May 23rd. Officers commanded Harris to drop the items, and then he allegedly stabbed one of the officers with a razor. Investigators say Harris also attempted to grab the injured officer's arm while the officer had his gun drawn. The officer then shot Harris in response, which the DA says was justified.
The officer only used deadly physical force after the defendant tried to cut himself in the neck with the scissors. The defendant then stabbed the officer with the razor. The other police officer used his taser, which again was unsuccessful in getting the defendant to drop the weapons. The defendant started to cut his own neck with the razor and the scissors again, and continued to do so as he ran from the police officers. And then finally, when the defendant reached for the officer's gun, the officer discharged his firearm.
And prosecutors also say earlier that same day, around 1:30 in the morning, Harris robbed a rideshare driver in the Broadway area while armed with a knife. He is accused of stealing the driver's wallet, bracelet, and cell phone. Jury selection begins next week for the federal death penalty trial of the 5/14 mass shooter. 2 on Your Side has learned that potential jurors will be asked to fill out a questionnaire on Monday about their experiences, views, and feelings on topics that are relevant to the case. Earlier this year, the judge in the case denied 10 separate motions filed by lawyers that were attempting to suppress evidence from Peyton Gendron's electronic devices, social media accounts, and the search of his home the day after the shooting. The trial is expected to start in October. An Amherst man who was involved in the January 6th Capitol riot is once again in trouble with the law. Police have confirmed Thomas Sibick was arrested yesterday morning and charged with 1 count of criminal mischief. Officers responded to a home for what they're calling a domestic-related incident. Sibick was previously sentenced to 50 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to a felony count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers during the January 6th riot. President Trump pardoned Sibick and other rioters last year. We have an update now on the man currently behind bars for trying to kill author Salman Rushdie at the Chautauqua Institution back in 2022. Hadi Matar will testify when he goes to trial on federal terrorism charges. And Matar told a federal judge yesterday that he will keep his court-appointed attorneys rather than represent himself. Matar had previously explored that possibility, but decided to continue with his current defense team. The New Jersey man is already serving a 25-year prison sentence after being convicted on state charges of attempted murder for that 2022 attack. The attack left Rushdie blind in one eye. His federal trial is scheduled to begin July 21st. A school bus with 7 children on board was involved in a crash in the town of Royalton yesterday, and thankfully all of the children are expected to be okay. The Niagara County Sheriff's Office says a Mini Cooper crashed into the back of the school bus on Akron Road. Emergency responders had to pull the driver from the car because it was lodged underneath the school bus. He was then taken to the hospital by helicopter. And a Niagara Falls man is accused of causing a crash that sent 4 motorcycle riders to the hospital. It happened Saturday afternoon on the thruway in the town of Chili. State police say 85-year-old Willie George Jones was using his car to tow a boat when he improperly changed lanes and hit 2 motorcycles. The drivers and their passengers were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Jones is due back in court next month on several traffic law violations. And a Buffalo woman who admitted to driving 6 children to a late-night vandalism spree at the Terrace at Delaware Park is set to be sentenced today. Prosecutors say Stacy Matthews drove the kids to the restaurant on Hoyt Lake last October, where they damaged furniture and smashed windows, causing about $2,000 in damage. Matthews pleaded guilty to criminal mischief and endangering the welfare of a child and agreed to pay restitution. She could face up to a year in jail. Happening today, Congressman Tim Kennedy will be in our nation's capital trying to push some new legislation. It's called the DHS Release Transparency Act. This legislation was created after the death of refugee Nurul Amin Shah Alam. Back in February, Border Patrol took him from the Erie County Holding Center to a closed importance in Black Rock, and he was found dead days later. The Erie County Commissioner of Health says his death was caused by complications from a perforated ulcer believed to be linked to extreme stress, dehydration, and hypothermia. The legislation Kennedy is pushing would mandate that DHS attempt to contact a detainee's chosen family member or representative at least twice prior to release, and also offer translation services. Community leaders, elected officials, and organizers gathered at Niagara Square yesterday to raise the red, black, and green flag to kick off the 50th anniversary of the Buffalo Juneteenth Festival. Organizers say the festival has grown into one of the largest Juneteenth celebrations in the country, honoring African American history, culture, and the continuing fight for freedom and equality. The flag raising also marked the start of Juneteenth events leading up to this weekend's festival and parade.
50 years is super exciting, as Buffalo has one of the most powerful, one of the most visible, one of the most mentoring Juneteenths in America.
And this year's theme is honoring the past, serving the present, and inspiring the future. Organizers say the 50th anniversary celebration is also a chance to recognize the festival's founders, celebrate the community's achievements, and inspire the next generation to carry the tradition forward. And how are we looking toward the end of the week, Patrick, for Juneteenth festivities, including the parade on Saturday?
Yeah, the end of the week looks pretty stormy on Friday, but Saturday for the parade, it looks perfect. Conditions, we're going to lose the humidity, we're going to have sun, and comfortable temperatures as well. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about what you can see in the sky this evening. Pretty cool. Tonight at about after 8:30, once the sun has gone down, look towards the west-northwest, okay? Look up, and you will see 2 planets, Jupiter and Venus. They are in conjunction, meaning they're very close to one another, separated by like a degree or a little over a degree. So again, where the sun sets, look kind of up and to the right from there, and you will see these 2 bright planets visible tonight. Pretty cool to see. All right, that's if we can lose some of the clouds. We will have some thunderstorms rolling through before then, so hopefully we can clear them out. You can see some of the showers and thunderstorms developing now over central Lake Erie, and a couple of these are going to pop closer to home later on this afternoon. I would say mid to late afternoon. Some of those are getting a little close, so we'll see if they might arrive a little sooner. Out ahead of it, it's going to get warm and humid today with temperatures in the 80s. It will be a mild night tonight with temperatures in the 60s, and then for tomorrow, low 80s with a scattering of showers and thunderstorms, especially the first half of the day, with drier weather, it looks like the second half. So here is Future Look showing, again, those thunderstorms getting closer this afternoon. They won't last too long, but they could pack a quick punch with a downpour moving through. Then that'll lift to the north and out of here. Notice here's 8:30, we're seeing some clearing. So maybe we'll get a good look at those planets late this evening. And then as we head into your day, and by the way, I said 8:30 because those planets will be setting. All right, so you're going to want to. You can't wait too much later than that. All right, 69 tomorrow morning in Batavia with a scattering of showers throughout the morning. But notice how it's a little drier in the afternoon. And then as we see Wednesday night into Thursday, another chance of thunderstorms rolling through into the first part of Thursday with drier weather Thursday afternoon. So skies now are mostly sunny, but we will see some increasing clouds and a couple of thunderstorms this afternoon. Scattered showers and a thunderstorm possible tonight. I think most of that, though, will hold off potentially into tomorrow morning. That's their best chance of some showers tomorrow. Drier in the afternoon. And then the 7-day forecast. Yeah, the day that has the best chance of some thunderstorms, at least more widespread, would be Friday. And some of those could be strong. Beautiful weather, as we mentioned, on Saturday with sunshine. Sunday looks pretty good, too. 70s with a few showers, Melissa, later in the day. But again, you'll see if you're out and about at 8:30. I know that's close to bedtime, but just go out, look to the west, northwest, look up, and you'll see the two planets. Kind of cool.
Okay, so we need to look up dark enough for them to be visible, but then not so dark that they've already set.
Perfectly said. So kind of in twilight is when you'll probably have the best chance in seeing. That's like right around 8:30 because sunset is just after 8:30, I think. So you'll have a beautiful sky and then you'll see the two planets.
And the planets just look like stars?
Bigger stars, yes. You'll see them because if the sun is just set, you won't see stars yet.
Oh.
But you'll see those two, and that'll be the two planets.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you.
And by the way, you'll know because they don't twinkle. The stars twinkle, the planets do not.
Will you give us a breakdown on why that is eventually?
It's just the whimsical nature of stars. No, because you're looking at a distant light so far away and you're seeing there's a lot of moisture in the way, but the stars tend to twinkle.
Okay. Patrick, thank you. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, coming up after the break, with the FIFA World Cup starting just days from now, we're going to get an update on where does the state of Buffalo Pro Soccer sit right now. When will the team start? When will there be a new stadium? We'll have Rob Hackford join us with an update on that. And also, if you're a train enthusiast, stick around. We'll talk about where you can see the Union Pacific Big Boy starting today. Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Rob Hackford now to give us an update on Buffalo Pro Soccer. There was a lot of hope that they would get things off the ground in 2027, but it looks like they're pivoting away from that. They had plans to play at the former Medaille Sports Complex on Elk Street in Buffalo. There was some pushback on that. So, Rob, where do things stand now? Yeah,
it just didn't work out there. There was an issue with the neighbor at that site, PBS Chemical, according to the founder of Buffalo Pro Soccer. So they're not going to be playing in the 2027 season. So that would have been next year, starting around springtime, around right now. But Peter Marlette says they were ready to have shovels in the ground at this stadium site, and they're still looking for a new site and planning to have those details out very soon because of that conflict. Again, this is something that we've been looking at since 2024 when these initial investors came in, and it's now the second time USL Soccer has been pushed back. It's the second highest level of soccer in the U.S. But Marlette says better days are ahead here. His organization has raised millions in private funds. No public dollars here have been used. He says even the earliest backers, now 2 years again into their investment, are thrilled with where Buffalo Pro Soccer is, and that some very good news is on the horizon.
I can say we are in advanced conversations on a stadium. I expect us to have something, contracted in the not too distant future, but until NDAs are lifted and the contracts are signed, we won't be making anything public.
Yeah, an NDA non-disclosure agreement. So Marlette says the following months will be for finalizing that home stadium deal with construction plans and finding a principal owner for the team. They're still looking for one of those. Buffalo Pro Soccer is hosting a community town hall for founding members tonight. So if you have bought season tickets, you put some money into this project, they're going to be meeting at the Banshee Irish Pub in Buffalo. Marlette says he expected questions after this announcement came out, a bit of disappointment as well. He wants to address those questions, head on and get ahead of this and have this discussion about what's next for Buffalo Pro Soccer. What's next for the season that would be, 2028 would be the next one.
Yeah, I'm surprised, though, that they can't play without a stadium. Like, rent a home for a little while and get the season off the ground as they're building the new stadium.
I know of a stadium.
So Marlette explained
Why
this
can't they play
a
there?
little bit in his interview. He was saying there have been other teams that have attempted that, and they tend to fizzle out without a home base. So he wants to have a home base for Buffalo to be able to have that consistency and that place to be for years in the future, not just a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, and then the landlord kicks you out.
Right.
So he was very adamant that they want to have this set space, and they seem to have those details. But again, still working things out till it's made public. We're kind of at a standstill.
So they don't even want to start it until they have the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of this is being talked about as we're just days away from the FIFA World Cup beginning across North America. And so now we're learning a little bit more about watch parties for all of those soccer fans here in Western New York that do want to watch surrounded by other soccer fans. So Rob, what do we know? Yeah,
Canalside announced their locations. They're going to have their first one on a Friday of this week down at Canalside for that USA men's match. Silo City was the other spot. They're going to be having a giant projection onto one of the silos, the grain silos there. And the first match for them is also going to be that Friday match, 9 p.m. USA versus Paraguay. And then the next one will be Friday, June 25th at 10 p.m. That'll be U.S. versus Turkey. It'll be then the day after that at 8 p.m. Uruguay versus Spain. So all these details just coming in here, and they have, let's see here, 5 in total for Silo City, 3 in total for down at Canalside. So plenty of options to be able to enjoy these matches without having to go to them because it is so expensive.
So expensive. Yeah. It's unbelievable to hear about some of these ticket prices. And then also, though, for Friday night, we're not looking really great weather-wise. You said storms possibly.
Yeah, they might be out of the area, hopefully. But when does the match start? Friday?
9 p.m. Yeah.
9 p.m. Yeah, the storms may be gone by then, so all is not lost for Friday night.
But soccer fans know of all the soccer bars in Western New York. Banshee's a big one, and Mesquite on Hurdle is a big one. So if you like soccer, you know where everyone's going to be watching inside bars and restaurants anyway.
Yeah, and Toronto has its own kickoff on Friday as well with the Canadian men's national team playing the first time on home soil there. That'll be pretty exciting. They have their Fan Fest set up as well. So I have heard a few people that might not be going to a match in Toronto, but might be going just to experience the atmosphere, enjoy what there is to offer with FIFA North America.
Yeah, and New York City also gearing up for security like they've never seen before. If the Knicks continue to play and don't wrap up the finals, then that's going to be coinciding with the games that are happening in New York and New Jersey. So that will be a nightmare.
Knicks in 5.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, they shut down Manhattan for the Knicks game apparently last night.
Right.
They had a special guest.
The president's appearance made things.
But still, it gives you a
different.
sign of the focus that'll be taking place there.
And the amount of money that people must have if they want to go to one or both of them. Can you imagine?
All the people that you see curbside, ringside, what are they, courtside.
Courtside.
Are probably the same people that are going to be going.
Down payment on a house.
Yeah.
No kidding. All right, Rob, thanks for all of that soccer info. And we will talk Union Pacific Big Boy coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
The following is sponsored by Cornerstone Community Credit Union.
Welcome back. America 250 celebrations are rolling into Western New York today and tomorrow as the world's largest operating steam engine, the Big Boy, makes a stop in Ripley today and the Walden Galleria tomorrow. But first, here's a look at the crowds near Cleveland as they lined up to see the historic locomotive in action. NBC's Christy Paul was there and has the story.
Thousands of train enthusiasts crowded around the tracks in Lorraine for a rare opportunity
to see the train.
The arrival of Union Pacific's Big Boy brought generations of train lovers together to witness a piece of living history.
I loved seeing it. It's bigger than I thought it would be. I had trains like that playing, in my basement, but they're nothing like the real thing.
The whistle of number 4014 drew cameras, cell phones, and plenty of excitement as it rolled through Greater Cleveland during its multi-state tour.
It's one of the largest trains ever made. There's only a few left in existence, and it's just, again, something you may never see ever again.
Words can't even describe it. They need to bring a poet out here. It's amazing. It's incredible that human ingenuity could create such an interesting machine that's so big and powerful.
The Big Boy Tour is part of events commemorating America's upcoming 250th anniversary. And during its brief stop in Lorraine, the locomotive left a lasting impression.
It was incredible. It was even bigger than I thought it was going to be. The way they've refinished it, it looked pristine. It looked brand new. It looked like the day they just put it on the tracks.
It was like a 3-story building, just rolling right past. Unbelievable, incredible. It shook the ground, shook your chest.
For many in the crowd, it was a chance to witness a piece of American history still running on the rails.
All right, I'm totally going to go see it.
I know.
Today, it goes through Hamburg, I think.
It does. Okay. And this is why I love our Daybreak viewers, because we mentioned at 5 a.m., we know it's going to be at the Galleria tomorrow. I wonder when it's coming through Western New York. And Pete and I were inundated with people giving us information.
Really? Okay.
So here's what we know. It's going to be in Ripley. Around 11 o'clock is when people will gather there, but it's actually going to be stopped at the State Street Station in Ripley from noon to 12:30. Then the Big Boy will leave Ripley at 12:30. It's going to make its way through Evans and Angola, and then Hamburg between 1 and 2. And it is on the northern. Can we scroll back? What's the lines that it's going to be on? The sorry, keep scrolling back. Keep scrolling back.
Yeah, because
there's not Union Pacific rail lines. There's different rail lines that it's going to be on. And so. Which one is it? Okay.
Northern Pacific, something. No, we said it before.
Yeah, we did say it. But so anyway, there's going to be a watch party also from 11 to 2 at the Heritage Discovery Center, which is on Lee Street in Buffalo, for folks who want to see it go through Buffalo. And so that's presented by the Western New York Railway Historical Society. And refreshments will be available for purchase. Parking's first come, first serve. And so it's probably going to be there in Buffalo around 1:30, 2 o'clock.
It's the Norfolk Southern.
No, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Norfolk Southern track is the line that it's going to be on. So
okay, which one is that? There's like when you cross, there's like 4 train lines. I know. So people at home are going, of course it's that. I don't know which one it is.
Okay, so maybe someone can write Patrick and tell him in Hamburg, where would you see it?
Because there's one that goes by Legion Field. There's also the ones that, I don't know, there's a couple options.
Okay.
I want to make sure I go the right.
We have another option to help you out tomorrow. It's going to be at the Walden Galleria from 9 until 2:30. You have to take a shuttle. You cannot park by the train. So the shuttle is at the Galleria, the northern side of the Galleria by the Primark store. Free shuttle will take you to the train, and then it's free. The shuttle's free, visiting it is free, and you can check it out. So give yourself a little time, though, because you might need some time to get on the shuttle and get back. But Kevin O'Neill is going to be live there all morning long as well to show us just how big the Big Boy is. Yeah, 2.5 stories to 3 stories tall is what we're hearing. So if you love trains, bring out your grandkids, bring out your kids, bring out your friends, and go check it out. And Patrick might actually skip his nap to go find the proper.
I kind of like to see it.
Proper train track. I could just see you sitting out at the CSX railroad tracks in Hamburg with your
turned it into a
cooler
tailgate
and everything.
Yep. It's a train
and then
gate.
you're at the wrong.
I'm at the
wrong one.
All of a sudden, an Amtrak goes by.
Right.
Oh. No, I think just looking at that video, it looks pretty impressive. So
yeah.
I don't know. I've got a little bit of that train envy in me. So
did you have the train around the Christmas tree, or
we
even
did,
more
and then there was
trains?
this place, and I know a lot of communities. It was a little miniature train. It was called Train Town in Sonoma, which is the wine country in northern. And I used to, as a kid, would go to Train Town every weekend, and it was just
Put me on a train to go
It's
from
a little-
winery to winery.
No,
and I'd
this
be
is a
really
little model
happy.
train. It's the train where you sit in like the kind at the fair, you know, where you just kind of scoot around. So, but it was anyway. That's where it all
if that's
began.
taking me from vineyard to vineyard, I'll be fine too.
Right. So yeah, that's where it kind of began for me. So I can totally get people that want to go out there and check it out.
Sure, that's great. And to hear the train enthusiasts in Cleveland who were really blown away with seeing it in person, and they know trains, and even they were kind of, you know, taken back by just how majestic it is. It's going to be pretty cool to see. So there's all the info. We've got it on our website, and the weather should be okay.
Yeah, but it'll be parked by the
Sure.
time the storms get here. So.
Okay, and and Bills Media, by the way, the Bills are starting mini camp today at 2:15. Joe Brady will be talking. We'll carry it live right here on WGRZ Plus, and then afterwards, when players talk, we'll carry that live as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.